All right, so look, people like to throw around the word warrior. They'll point to the knights in shining armor, the Viking raiders, or even modern soldiers and call them warriors. But when you really break it down, most of what Europe calls warriorhood is actually cosplay. It's a performance. It's a costume. Because a true warrior is not somebody who just fights. A true warrior is an initiated soul. A man or woman who is bound to the community, to their ancestors, to the balance of the universe. A true warrior doesn't fight for conquest or wealth or domination. He fasts, he prays, he disciplines himself. He submits to the responsibility of something greater than himself. When you look at Africa, when you look at the indigenous nations of America, when you look at other traditions across the world, you can see it clearly. Warriors were not just fighters. They were spiritual protectors. They carried code. They underwent rites of passage. They aligned themselves with cosmic law before they ever picked up a weapon. They lived as guardians. That is substance. That is warriorhood. But when you look at Europe, you see something different. The Roman legionnaire did not fight for the ancestors. He fought for the empire. The medieval knight didn't fight for community balance. He fought for lords and kings. The Viking wasn't defending his people from annihilation. He was seeking out treasure. He was seeking out land. He was seeking out domination. And that's why when Europe remembers its history, it remembers it in costume. Armor, the helmets, the shields, the flags, pageantry, and myth. They had to dress their soldiers up as something greater than what they actually were. They had to mythologize mercenaries into noble protectors. They turned their raiders into folk heroes. And that's not warriorhood. What that is marketing. That's cosplay. And Dr. Frances Cress Welsing gives us the keys to understand this clearer. And why this matters. She taught that Europeans live under the subconscious fear of genetic annihilation, knowing that as the global minority without melanin, they are surrounded by a world of color. And that fear drives their behavior. So when you see the endless glorification of knights, Vikings, Spartans, or Marines, what you're really looking at is a survival ritual. It's a way to project strength, to convince themselves of power, when deep down, fragility is what they feel. Their wars were not sacred dances like those of the African or indigenous warriors. They were survival strategies. Their myths of nobility were not reflections of spirit. They were therapy for insecurity. And that's why their culture leans so much on spectacle. The flags, the parades, the uniforms, the horns. Because without the illusion, then the truth is exposed. And the truth is, most of their so-called warriorhood has been nothing but a performance. And today, we can see this play out in politics. Look at Trump. He's celebrated by his followers as a fighter, even a warrior for their cause. But what has he sacrificed? What discipline has he lived? What spiritual burden has he carried? None at all. Trump's entire existence is a performance. He is cosplay power, a mascot for white fragility dressed up as white strength. His rallies are armor. His slogans are swords. His image is a shield, but it's all costume. His followers cling to him because they need the illusion. They need to believe that somebody is fighting for them. Because without that belief, their fear of decline becomes too real to face. And this is the same story that has always played out in Europe. Empire is not built on warriors, but on soldiers. Not on substance, but on spectacle. And Rome collapsed when its performance could no longer be maintained. The British Empire collapsed when the illusions became too thin. And now, America trembles because it's cosplay. The flag-draped soldier, the cowboy myth, the Trump strongman figure can no longer hide the truth. And the truth is simple. A warrior defends life, defends community, defends balance. His strength is measured in discipline, in sacrifice, and in service. His courage is inherited by the ancestors and sanctified by spirit. The European soldier, on the other hand, defends conquest and survival. His strength is measured in costumes, in myths, in domination. His courage has to be measured in his pageantry because it cannot be found in his essence. One is substance, the other is spectacle. And this is why white supremacy has always needed reinforcement. Because it has never been a real warriorhood. It has been an illusion tied together with myths, with lies, with uniforms, and the control of the narrative. We've been taught to admire the conqueror and forget the warrior. We've been taught that the knights were noble while the African and indigenous warriors were savages. We've been told that Trump is strong while his very existence proves fragility. But when you strip away the armor, the flags, and the slogans, what remains is clear. Europe has never produced warriors in the sacred sense. They produce soldiers, mercenaries, raiders, and now mascots. Warriorhood is not in their essence, only performances. And the thing about performance is this: it can conquer for a time, but it's not sustainable. Empires fall, costumes crumble, spectacles burn out. But the truth remains. And the truth is, the world knows what a real warrior is. And I'll tell you, it's not them.